Picture this. You're an incredibly successful female entrepreneur. You're flying. You've got everything that you ever want. And yet you are utterly exhausted, emotionally drained, heavy. Everyone depends on you in the business. The other leaders depend on you. The team depends on you. Your marriage depends on you. Your friends depend on you. Everybody depends on you. And if you could admit it, you have a secret need to be needed. This is an important message for me to get out. I literally had a coughing fit just before recording this, so I'm determined to keep sharing about this. I can relate, all my clients can relate. What is going on? Because it's not the strategy that's heavy. It's not that. It's the emotional cost of everything that you're building. If you dived a little bit deeper into this, you would uncover something quite remarkable. That you have become the mother to everyone in your business and the mother to your business. If you like what you're hearing so far, click subscribe for more of these types of videos. So what do you do when you've become the mother to your business? I'm literally standing out in like 35, 40 degree heat right now. What is going on? What is going on? Because the strategy is not going to fix it. And I know you are ambitious. You are here to show other women how it's done, right? You're here to rise. You're here to role model leadership to other women. You and I know that we're in these rooms of high-flying entrepreneurs, and a very small proportion still are women. Everyone else is male. We know that we're defying the odds right now. Why are we making it so difficult for ourselves to scale? Why are we so emotionally entangled in our business and emotionally entangled in our teams? Think about this for a second. When is the last time you had dysfunction within your team? Chances are fairly recently, or you can remember very clearly when it last happened. So what's going on, and how can you untangle yourself from this? How can you stop being the mother to your business and exhausting yourself when you think about holding a bigger vision and when you think about growing and scaling? Psychologically, and I find this really fascinating, psychologically speaking, what's going on is quite possibly there's an emotional relationship. Maybe it's the relationship between you and your mum. Maybe it's just relationships full stop that is being repeated again and again and again and again in the business. Think about this for a second. Have you ever had it where team members have kind of projected onto you that you're their mother, or maybe another leader on the team that's male is their father? Psychologically, this is what happens again and again and again and again in business. Our relationship topics are triggered. You know, without realizing it, everybody brings their topics to the business system. And without going on in that direction, let's talk practically how we can get you out of the emotional entanglement. And there's two quick, short topics or conversations about emotions in business, because I've had many conversations with successful, highly successful leaders about bringing emotions into business. And we all agree that emotions are needed, but not negative, disempowering emotions where you're literally projecting all of your emotional baggage into the business. Emotions are necessary in terms of like feeling emotionally excited and passionate about the business and growing that. That's important. But when negative emotions are keeping you suppressed and blocking the growth of the business, that is not necessarily helpful for you or healthy in any way. Business is business. Let's take the emotions out of it. So how do you stop being the mother to your business? First of all, what emotions are you pouring into the business? Can you pull them back? even though you've poured blood, sweat, tears into the building of the business. And actually, at the beginning, you needed to do that to get things going. In the beginning, that level of energy and effort needed to be activated. You needed to be pouring in that level of energy and effort. The dogs have just come home from the walk. At the beginning, you need to be pouring in that level of energy and effort into the business to get things going, but you don't need to be doing that anymore. You don't need to be doing that anymore. So what do? So there's an identity, there's a belief system that you need to show up in that way in the business. So step one, practically speaking, how about speaking directly to this part of you that has built the business in a more emotionally compromised way? And telling this part, you know what? You're absolutely right, because at the beginning, I did need to do it in that way. At the beginning, when I was building this business, I did need to be doing it that way. It did need to be harder. I did need to pour energy and effort into what I was doing to make sure that it took off. That is true. And yet, I don't need to do that anymore. When you talk to the part of you that created an identity or belief systems about business being hard and you needing to pour everything into it, and you tell that part of you tell those beliefs that you're absolutely right, because on the level that they were created at the time, the evidence was supporting the belief, was supporting the identity. When you tell these aspects of you, you're absolutely right, they start to relinquish control and they start to dissolve. I'm absolutely sweating right now, but I'm determined to get this video done for you. So dissolve the part of you that's believing that it has to be a certain way, that you have to be the mother of everything, that you have to hold everything, and if you don't, then it's going to collapse. Speak to that part, tell it you're absolutely right. That was exactly what we had to do at one point. That was exactly how we got things going. You're so right. You're so right. And then as that part starts to dissolve and relinquish control and loses its grip, then you can start to ask yourself, how do I want to reprogram myself building the business? How do I want to reprogram my mindset? I feel like I'm going to sneeze. How do I want to do this differently from now on? How do I want to do it? How do you want to do it? How do you want to build a business differently? And then you start to create a different design, let's call it that. How do you want to build a business? Like, I know that I want things to be easy. That sounds cliche and it sounds like a far-fetched dream, right? But I know that it's true. I know that there's a part within me that knows that it can be easy and effortless and less exhausting. I don't want to be exhausted anymore. I don't want to be drained. I don't want to be tired. I want to have excess energy for amazing friendships, for speaking to you and recording content. I want to have this sense of like overflow and excess. I don't want to be depleted. So I want my business to be energizing. You know, just before recording this video, I had a moment where I was like, I don't know if I can come on and record this to you and do you justice, because I want to really make sure that you get stuff from this video. How can I make sure that I get out of my own way and record? And I've just started recording YouTube videos. I've been recording Instagram content for the longest time. But I realized that I had a belief that recording content for you was heavy, was hard, was challenging. I'm like, no, it doesn't need to be that way. What if recording content to you, what if sharing my truth with you was energizing? What if it literally gave me energy when I shared with you, when I poured my heart and soul into what I'm sharing? What if that energized me? Even if I was melting in the process? What if I felt energized by this? It gets to be how you want it to be. Let's simplify this, because it is simple and it can be simple. How do you want to build the business moving forwards? One of my mentors once said to me, Jody, imagine and visualize if you had that level of support available to you where you walked through the door of your home and someone literally took your coat off you, put it away, and then everything else was taken care of? How would that level of support feel to you? And at the time I was like, I can't even imagine it because I do everything myself. I have a belief that success is a solo journey. I have to do it all myself. Even though I've got a team around me, I wasn't receiving support from the team at that time. And she came in and she was like, okay, Jody, so imagine if you literally come through the door of your building and imagine that someone's taken the coat off you and someone is literally doing everything on your behalf. How would that feel? And I was like, wow, that would feel amazing. I wish that that would be possible. Please make it possible. And she was like, well, it is possible. You just have to design that and create that. So I'll just give you a practical how-to before we complete our beautiful exchange. As a woman, your emotions are your superpower. You may have heard someone talk about that, but to be completely real and honest with you, we've been so heavily programmed to believe that like our emotions are weak, especially in business. When you look around the room and that there are way more men than women in this at this level, right, that we're at. Emotions are powerful though. So what if you could create the emotions and the sensations in your body of feeling absolutely, fully and completely supported? That you walked through the door of your home and your coat was taken off you and then everything else was taken care of. What would that feel like in your body? And at this point, my ego usually kicks off and says, I have no idea because I've never experienced that, nor has my mum, nor has my grandma, nor have any of the women in my ancestral lineage experienced that. So this is a first. And I'd be like, thanks, ego, I get that. But I also know that I can create anything that I want. So what does it feel like? If I could imagine what that might feel like in my body, it would feel like a sigh of relief. It would feel like instant relaxation. It would feel like my nervous system would be so chill. And what does that feel like? That feels good, actually. Even though it's wildly out of reach for me right now, I know that maybe 5% of me knows that it's possible. Okay, I'm going to work with that 5%. And then you start creating some feelings, some sensations in your body that align with that reality. And that is literally how it begins. So let's put it back on you. How would it feel to scale the business in an emotionally energizing way? What would it feel like if you've spent your career so far feeling exhausted by everything in the business, which I totally get, because me too. But how would it feel for the next chapter, the next phase, the next era of you building your business to be different and energizing? What if you reprogrammed or brainwashed yourself to believe that every business activity was energizing? That's what I'm doing right now, and it is working. So, if you are liking what you're hearing, please subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be releasing weekly videos. I'm super passionate about speaking to you. Please leave some comments below as well. And thank you so much for listening. Your business journey, entrepreneurship journey gets to be exactly how you want it to be. So let's start making some wise, bold choices.